Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this replay between WhiteRa and Tarson here on Lost Temple. Sorry about the little bit of technical issues back earlier in part 1. Siege tanks now grabbing up on that high ground, able to start blasting some of these stalkers, and now Vikings and siege tanks with marauders as support. Very nicely done by Tarson. So Vikings now moving out. There is a proxy pylon down in the middle of the field. No additional void rays being produced as the Vikings are already up in the air. How are those Vikings going to be able to deploy and perhaps convert into that assault mode on the ground and start taking down some of these probes? I think so. Tarson now trying to come in. Stalkers being warped in from the far side and now quickly coming in. May lose some of these Vikings. One of those Vikings already very low on hit points, and now Viking quickly getting taken down. That Viking, however, hiding in the trees, and WhiteRa really unable to see beyond into those trees. However, WhiteRa setting up an expansion over here at the 8 o'clock starting position in order to be able to macro up more units. Don't know why he destroyed his own pylon there. Perhaps that pylon was in the way. However, Tarson gonna be able to move on over and do a little bit of scouting and is gonna find this expansion. Tarson gonna go ahead and most likely convert to that ground mode, try to take down that probe. Probe now being pulled away. Is he gonna warp in any units? WhiteRa could essentially just warp in some additional units. No, just gonna walk in some of these stalkers, and now that Viking quickly getting taken down. 14 damage per shot, 14 times 5 is what? 60 damage per 60 damage. So 2 rounds of volleys quickly taking down one of those Vikings. Tarson setting up an orbital command, gonna try to grab his natural expansion. And as this probes are still trying to mine out of this location, Zealot charge being researched, and I don't know why. I really thought that WhiteRa would have gone for a little bit more of a blink harassment or a blink usage in order to increase the mobility of these stalkers. Those stalkers, taking a look at the unit combination, he has 9 stalkers, 1 observer, and he's for some reason going for charge. And perhaps he's going to start warping in charge, now getting immortals as well. However, are these units going to get stopped in midfield? They might get stopped midfield. Siege tanks quickly being deployed, and while those stalkers need to be are being forced to pull away, blink would have been absolutely so useful at this stage in the game. But yeah, taking down one of those medevacs and now pulling away. Stalkers coming back around. WhiteRa using a single immortal as well. That immortal, however, on that siege round, and WhiteRa now coming in with some of these stalkers. And wow. 2 siege tanks, a couple marauders, only 2 medevacs left, and those siege tanks are very low on hit points. Siege tanks once again on the move. Stalkers and zealots trying to reinforce the natural that expansion over here at the 8 o'clock position, and WhiteRa really needs to macro up more units. Stargate and now being chrono boosted in order to cut the build time on that void ray. Essentially 2 chrono boost cuts the build time down to 40, and now siege tanks once again re-engaging. 1 siege tank already in siege mode, 2 other siege tanks now engaging, and it looks as though WhiteRa gonna get steamrolled in this position, may lose this expansion. However, Zealot's able to take down some of these units in midfield, so that is a definite advantage right now. Tarson getting caught between his army, unable to get any additional reinforcements, as now there is a void ray in the air and no marines, absolutely no marines in order to reinforce Tarson trying to move in, and Tarson gonna lose his whole entire attacking force to a single void ray with zealot and immortal support. And wow, what a heavy loss. WhiteRa still has its proxy pylon over here. Zealots and sentries now being re-warped in, an additional void ray being trained up. As these armies once again are on the move, the immortal quickly regenerating their shields, so these immortals will be able to deal some significant damage. Marauders now coming in, trying to kite those zealots. However, a quick force field up on that ramp is going to make this fight very difficult. 1 single missile turret, but that missile turret out of not within range of that void ray. Void ray pretty much at full charge will be able to take down that missile turret, and that Tarson says GG. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay between Tarson and WhiteRa here on Lost Temple. Stay tuned for Game 2. I'm not sure if there is going to be a Game 3. I think Game 2 is on Steps of War, and Game 3 will be decided by the loser of Game 2 if necessary. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and yeah, stay tuned for Game 2.